In the book, we've written 10 books. I can't remember which one it is. I talk about Pinehurst Country Club when we went to a military reunion there a couple years ago, and that hotel, that amazing hotel there, was packed with entities. Of course, we got the room where they all came through. So it's just how your life goes, but you need to find a way to find out what works for you and what doesn't. I say no a lot more than I say yes, but I'm old as dirt. I'm really very, very careful how I do that and why I do it and if I do it. I'm not saying it'll never happen again. If Tom and I traveled and went to one of these hotels or houses or whatever, or the stores in New Orleans, I'm very comfortable in New Orleans. I was born there. And so my first breath I took there, I breathed that city. I'm very, very comfortable there. And it's just the streets are packed with entities, good, bad, evil, magnificent. Everything's there, just everything. And it'll of course end up being underwater because it probably needs to be at some point. But I'm not saying never, but I no longer make myself available for that. And point where you become a little fragile. And at age almost 72, I'm kind of there in that instance that I have graduated from some of the things I used to do, such as screaming around on quads, jumping over hill. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I just don't. So
So
yeah,
you use caution in your physical and psychic life.
I'm very, very cautious these days. And as we have discussed, the word the Spirit told me, they said, "You are your beloved." So I'm learning more about treating myself with gentleness and with more respect. And I've gotten good at listening to my body, what I can and cannot do, because the consequences aren't good. And that's what you have to do if you're doing psychic work. When you're first starting out, oh my God, it's going to hurt. You're going to mess up. You're going to have all this stuff happen. It just goes with the territory. Because spirit will mess with you just to have fun too. You need to have a good spiritual basis, whether that's religious or spiritual. Find something and practice that daily.
And that's great advice and sorely needed. We're always crying out for help, or we always seeking, the supernatural when we really might just want to seek to be our own beloved or seek to solve our own daily issues.
Very well put. I think when we seek all this help, and I do it all the time, I'm wanting a collaboration with the unseen. I'm acknowledging I don't have the answers and I'm affected by external stimuli to the point that it will affect me in ways that I haven't addressed. It's some of that shadow work.
And you've been doing this a while, so has some of your work with some of these other supernatural beings helped you in this process?
Extremely so. I have a group that I work with, so to speak. No names mentioned. And the reason is I was initiated and guarded and protected, but I gave my word. I gave my word that I would follow the rules. And there are rules, and those rules are there to protect you, the the beings themselves from being affected by other beings, because everything has higher and lower to it. So you have to pick and choose, but I'm very specific, and I've gotten that way after doing this for 50 years. Oh my God. So it takes a little time. Be patient with yourself and be very discerning about who you work with. It's human, who you work with on the other side. Make sure that you are protected.
How do you use discernment in such cases? We talk about good and evil is poured into the same cup. So I would imagine sometimes evil looking beings are actually good, and good, beautiful looking beings are actually evil. So how do you use discernment in such cases?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's look at Hollywood. Look at a lot of these hoity-toity influencers who they look exquisite, but it's fake. It's false. It's fake. Truth is not, it says in the Tao Te Ching, the truth is not fine sounding. And it isn't. I had a situation lately that addressed that. I realized I'd started thinking in a certain way that was not good. And it happened gradually. And I started suffering some consequences in other areas. And I had to say, oh my God. I started saying the Ho'oponopono prayer to these other energies. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And backed it up. I had to back it up to say, when did the genesis of this start? And things that the other side, they have plenty of time. The world of evil, whatever you want to call it, don't get all obsessed with it. Doesn't affect you as much as you think it does. But it's our own emotions when we look for stuff to relieve our own pain. A lot of times, what we're looking for doesn't help other people either. So I had to back it up to the genesis of me just being bored one day. And I let my mind go to icky places. So I'm just coming out of that now and I'm having to redo parts of my thinking. This is a lifelong process. You never stop because you will go down into the dark. And the purpose of that is when you are then seeking the light, you will go higher than you were before.
Oh, that's promising.
Because the purpose of the demonic, besides holding the world in place, is to show you what it feels like when you don't do that.
So it's like shining a light on our darker nature.
In a way, I'd rather think that it takes away the light. It's the void, it's the silence, and not the good silence. It's the void with you just sinking back further and further into the abyss. And the abyss is valuable too because it shows us what we haven't done, what we haven't accessed.
Is there a way to determine whether our feelings are valid about something, good or bad? Because often our feelings are manipulated. So how do we know whether we're discerning things accurately?
Well, it takes time. That's one of the lessons of life, Linda. It's so hard. And I don't think we ever fully get it. We just don't. And it's not that God sends tests to you. No, it's your soul testing you, and it's your own choice so that you can go higher to think that you are through with that. But you'll know, you really do know. We have this built in access to divinity, it's a given. And we know if we start doing something, thinking something, saying something that is not in alignment with that, we know how it feels. And sometimes we're just pissed off and do it anyway. And so we grow from that. Usually it's not icky stuff. It's a feeling of things that we haven't accomplished, but it's always the same in that we think we can get away with it.
Yeah.
Nobody will notice.